Hello and welcome to SolarQuotes Vodcast, quarter of a century edition.
Number 25! Yay!
Why are you holding a plant?
To indicate my plant mastery. I worked out what was wrong with the plants in the office. They were weak because they were being overwatered. But I found out how to make them strong again. And now they will remember who their savior was, and they shall owe allegiance to me.
What's the secret?
Stop watering them so much.
Okay.
Simple. Isn't that right, my green minion? Anyway, I heard they still haven't sorted the shit out in Victoria.
So yesterday, because we record this on a Friday, Thursday, there was a second protest. This is about the Victoria Solar Rebate Fiasco.
Yes.
So the Smart Energy Council, thank you Smart Energy Council, thank you John Grimes, you're doing a great job keeping the momentum going with the media, organised a protest outside Daniel Andrews' office because the Victorian government are not budging on the Solar Victoria disaster. Everyone was there except Daniel Andrews. I saw reports of Solar Victoria staff watching what was happening.
Oh!
A bit bloody
wow.
Orwellian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, the solar rebate disaster continues.
Yes.
Let's hear what Lily D'Ambrosio had to say about it yesterday.
Very good, yes, I'm sure she has sensible things to say.
Let's find out.
Our rebates have made it bigger and better and will continue to make it bigger and better.
That's not true.
That's a lie, Lily.
Yeah.
Our rebates have made it bigger and better and will continue to make it bigger and better. Do you think she's been practicing that all night?
Oh, just for an hour or two.
Soundbite politics. It's like you say it enough times, people will believe you.
Yeah.
It's not true. Why aren't the media questioning that statement?
Because they only question things when they feel like it.
I mean, we destroyed that argument last week with that graph. And the reality of the situation, there's another soundbite from 7 News yesterday, from the demonstration.
I've been paying the boys out of my mortgage offset account, which is ridiculous.
I mean, so look at Guy there, right? Most business owners by now, I mean, this has been going on since April. Most business owners would have fired most of their staff. Instead of firing them, Guy is literally going into debt to pay them because the business isn't bringing in the money to pay them.
Nope.
Contrast that with the politician. Absolutely no skin in the game, absolutely nothing to lose. Everything covered by the taxpayer. Anything goes wrong for her, if she gets sued or something, the taxpayer will step in and cover all the costs to do anything. And she's just standing there destroying these guys' livelihoods.
Yep. It's disgusting.
I think the Victorian government's tactics are to just wait it out and hope it goes away.
Yeah. Once half of the industry is bankrupt and out of business, well, there'll be plenty of work for the 50% that's left. Yay.
And it's going to be very easy for all of us in the industry to just kind of get quiet about it and just kind of give up and get... The media is on top of this now, which is brilliant. A couple of months ago, they weren't interested in it. Now it's in the news almost every day. The opposition is putting pressure on the government. So there's a brilliant quote from the Liberals in Victoria, who I don't normally agree with, to be honest. But he said, when the Liberals and the Greens are on the same page, you know the government's messed up.
Yes, definitely.
I thought that was pretty telling.
I assumed the Labor Party, the Victorian Labor, would be much better for solar in Victoria than the Liberals. But no, if the Liberals had gotten in, I think they just would have left solar alone and we wouldn't have had this terrible mess. So it's a tragic case that...
I think so. I mean, another example of the absolute incompetence of the bureaucracy is if you have a solar system installed in Victoria right now, there's a chance that it will get inspected 3 times by 3 separate organisations. Once by the Clean Energy Regulator, once because all solar systems in Victoria get inspected, and once by Solar Victoria.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Completely.
It's Band-Aid on Band-Aid on Band-Aid.
And it's increasing the cost of solar for everyone.
Of course it is.
I wouldn't say Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid. I just, only 2 Band-Aids. One set of properly set up inspections independently
Yeah, good
makes
point.
sense.
Good point.
Only 2 Band-Aids, not 3. So, yeah, only got to rip 2 off.
So the fiasco continues. Solar Victoria continue to make a complete pig's ear of the implementation. So the first of the month, 1st of September, falls on a Sunday. Solar Victoria cannot tell the installers whether the scheme will open on the Sunday or not.
That's important. They need to know.
They didn't think that there's a 2 chance out of 7 that the first's going to fall on a weekend. They haven't planned for it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an example here of the bureaucrats and the politicians who are rent seekers destroying the risk takers, who are the people that are creating the wealth, who are the business owners.
Right, no, I see it totally differently.
Go on.
I see it as they just fucked up and won't admit it. Because they have no interest in destroying the industry, but now they've done it because they weren't thinking, they didn't plan it through. I don't know where the public servants were who normally tell them they're about being really stupid, but they fucked up, they're not fixing it, and they don't care. That's the thing, they don't care. They'd rather pretend there's no problem than help people.
Yeah.
That's horrific, it's terrible. I was about to say unforgivable, but tell you what, fix it now. Right now, today, I'll forgive you. Do whatever face-saving measures you need to, but fix it.
Get Ronald's forgiveness.
Yes, get
Highly
Ronald's
recommend.
forgiveness. Limited time offer.
Let's move on, because
Yes.
the rest of Australia does exist. And there's a map of the rest of Australia.
Yes, it's a lovely place, apart from Victoria.
So every month, Michael does a Australian Solar Systems Interest Index, which just happens to spell Aussie.
Woohoo! What are the odds against that?
What are the odds against that? So we basically look at all the data, I'm in Australia, from the past month and see what people are doing who come through SolarQuotes, which is about 5,000 inquiries. So it's a pretty good sample set. 3.5% of people asking for quotes want a 3 kilowatt system. Can we now say that 3 kilowatt systems are dead?
Yeah, unless you have a very limited amount of space on your roof, there is no point in getting a 3.5 kilowatt system. Spend that little bit extra, because it's hardly any difference in price. Get, I say 6.5 kilowatts if that'll fit. Otherwise, as much as you can reasonably fit on your roof, because no sense to go so small.
And to show how out of touch the bureaucrats are, when they look at the cost of solar systems for whatever reason, for example, the CSIRO report came out a couple of weeks ago, and they based their estimated cost of solar of the current cost of a 3 kilowatt system in Australia, which 3.5% of people are buying. 12% of people coming through SolarQuotes want a top quality system.
Woohoo, yes.
And 7% of people want a budget system. I don't know how that extrapolates to the rest of Australia.
Yes, it's because people who come to SolarQuotes, a lot of them do some homework first, and many are aware that you should stay away from the very cheapest installers, as they're far more likely to be dodgy, cut corners, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic. So what, 81% of people want something in the middle?
Yeah, that's quite reasonable. Yes.
As might be expected. 63% of people want advanced system monitoring.
Yeah, it's higher than I would have guessed. But it's a very useful thing if you get it.
Yeah. You see, I wouldn't class what you get with your inverter as your Fronius or your Enphase or whatever as advanced system monitoring. I would only class Solar Analytics and probably, although I haven't tried it, but I will get it installed soon, a system called Emberpulse, made by Embertech, because those systems actually look at the weather, look at lots of variables and tell you what your system should be producing. Enphase and Fronius just give you a gross value, say your system produced this much with no kind of point of reference. Enphase came out, I think this week or last, and you can pay $15 a month for advanced monitoring or $350 lifetime subscription.
Well, it must be good, huh?
I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, don't pay it. I'm a big fan of Enphase hardware.
Yes.
Like I said last week, I've even got their shares, disclosure, all that. But I think their software's pretty rubbish. Yes, so that's a lot of people want advanced monitoring.
Yeah. Well, the more people get it, the easier life becomes, because people will know whether or not they have a problem instead of a lot of the time just guessing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, makes it easy for the installers. They once they put the advanced monitoring in, they know that They're only going to get a call to come out and fix things if there is a problem.
Yeah.
Again, but if you're my parents, use the money to buy a larger system because you don't understand the internet.
If you're never going to look at it,
If you're never going to look
probably
at
not worth getting.
Yeah.
Here we go. 23% of people say they want a battery-ready system. Now, I know, any system is battery-ready. Yep, I know that. But we asked the question so they can have a conversation with the installer about, where the battery is going to go in the future and how that affects their system size and a few other things relating to, the local network rules, and make sure they're prepared for all that if they want a battery. But only 23%, this is telling us, are interested in a battery in the short to medium term. Or in other words, almost 80% of people are saying, I don't foresee getting a battery anytime soon.
Yeah.
Which is kind of not the impression you get from the more mainstream green media.
No. We're going to have millions of batteries. I think according to some reports, we should have millions now. This year already.
That CSIRO report I was talking about, I should put the graph in there. Their forecast for battery uptake. It was worst case scenario, almost none.
Yes.
Best case scenario, shitloads.
Correct.
Thanks, CSIRO. That's
Very.
really not very useful.
No.
So basically they're saying no one knows.
Yeah.
So batteries, I would say, not as popular as people make out. And only, coming through SolarQuotes anyway, only 5% of people want a quote for batteries with their solar.
Yeah.
Again, much lower than other people would have you believe.
And that's 5% of people wanting one now. What happens when they find out how much batteries actually cost?
Yeah, how many of those actually?
Yeah.
We'll have the numbers somewhere. We'll actually go and get a battery, yeah. So, batteries will be huge at some point. Right now, quite dangerous to bet the farm on them.
Yes, I was concerned that the government would diddle things so batteries would not be allowed. But they haven't, and there's no sign of them doing that. So batteries will be a big thing. They just don't pay now, and they have to pay before they take off. Simple.
Okay, final stat. Of those that did want batteries and knew what size they wanted, 82% wanted 10 kilowatt hours or more.
Yes.
So I would say if you're selling batteries, don't sell batteries or make batteries with a capacity lower than 10 kilowatt hours because no one wants them. What do you reckon?
Pretty much correct, yeah. You might want to make a smaller battery to appeal to, some people, but the trouble is the battery cells themselves have gotten so cheap, but the electronic side, the other half of the equation, hasn't fallen in price as much. So you may as well whack on that extra storage.
Best and worst review of the month?
Yeah,
Week?
let's
Week? Go. Okay, AH Solar. These are SolarQuotes clients up in Queensland, southeast Queensland.
Yep.
Are you sitting comfortably? Standing comfortably?
I'll stand on one leg.
This is quite an interesting story. Customer service at its very, very best. Please read. This is a saga, but bear with me, as this is customer and after-sales service at its very, very best. My solar journey began with 3 quotes. Smart move. AH Lek wasn't the cheapest or the dearest, but I knew from meeting Austin that I wouldn't go wrong getting him to install my system. He was patient, explained what would happen, how it all worked, and he assured me he would be there through the whole process and beyond. I accepted his quote. Solar was installed, there were no problems, everything was working correctly and being monitored remotely by Austin to ensure everything was working as it should. Pretty good so far. Austin asked me to contact him when my first electricity bill arrived. That's good service. So he could go through it with me and explain the details. When it finally arrived, I was flabbergasted, as it was double any I had received in the past. That's not what you want for your first post-solar bill. There was something wrong, and after seeing it, Austin agreed. On calling my electricity retailer, I was told the problem was the solar system. There was nothing wrong with the meter. Of course! I had no satisfaction from them, and due to my own ignorance, couldn't argue the case, which is what the electricity retailers depend on, right?
Exactly.
God, they're so full of shit, the electricity retailers.
Yeah.
They just lie. And I've got lots and lots of examples of that.
Yep.
At this point, Austin asked me to add his name to my energy bill with my supplier so he could deal with them on my behalf. Now, that is brilliant. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's a really, really smart idea.
If you're fine with that, it's brilliant. Yeah.
You cannot imagine how relieved I was at this, as my experiences with my electricity retailer had been really demoralizing. Tell me about it. From this point, Austin took over all communication with my retailer. They continued to insist it was a problem with the solar and not the meter, as they said they had checked that. But as it turned out, they had only checked the meter remotely and hadn't sent anyone to physically check it. The lazy Scumbag bastards.
Yeah.
How do you check a meter remotely?
You say, "Hey, meter, how are you going?" And the meter says, "I'm fine." Yes, yeah.
Austin sent Andy to have a look, and surprise, surprise, Andy found, by physically looking at the meter,
Yes.
not just ringing it up, that the meter had been wired incorrectly. And when it had been installed, and I'll interject here, it's generally almost never the solar installer that installs the new meter. It's someone provided by the electricity retailer. So it was the electricity retailer's fault. It had been wired incorrectly when it had been installed, and all the solar that I was generating was being billed to me as usage. And he took pictures of the mistake, which were forwarded to the electricity retailer to illustrate the error. Now, you'd think at that point,
Yes.
they go, "Oh, fuck, sorry.
Yep. Oops.
That was really dumb. I can't believe we've charged you all. We've basically taken this money from you fraudulently. Here's a refund." You think they'd do that, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
It took many calls by Austin to reach anyone with authority, and slowly my problem did climb the chain. But the process was so slow that Austin finally involved the energy ombudsman. Ha! Surprise, surprise. Once they were involved, things moved faster. Until finally, after over a year of trying,
Yeah.
I told you how much I hate electricity retailers, to resolve the issue, the wiring was corrected, and my supplier agreed to review all my bills and reissue them with some credit for the inconvenience that had been caused. How kind of them.
Yes.
I cannot express my gratitude enough to Austin and his team for their care and support through this whole process. All I can do is post this review to inform everyone who is looking for an honest, supportive solar company to look no further. You have found who you are looking for.
Whew. Yeah.
Nice one, Austin and Andy at AH Leg. Yeah, that's above, well, I mean, that's just brilliant.
Definitely.
This is what you're up against sometimes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I got some stories about electricity retailers too. But, you know, might get into legal trouble because I could mention some names, so let's not get Ronald started on that.
Okay, later. Let's go to a badge review. Now, this is for a company called Solar Service Group, which many people in the industry will be familiar with. They send out lots and lots of letters telling people that they are eligible for some amazing battery trial and can get a super deal on batteries. And I would argue that it's not a very good deal on batteries at all, and that the letters are pretty misleading in my opinion. So the title of this review is Cunning, Conniving and an Absolute Disgrace. They're smooth and sweet and honey to lure you into their web of lies and fantasies, and then taking absolute bugger all responsibility for the rubbish they call batteries when 2 weeks after they're installed they go faulty. Then fixed and faulty after then fixed and faulty after 2 weeks again. Then fixed and faulty after 3 weeks this time. See the pattern? Once the finance company paid this company, Solar Service Group, the $6,000 for the installation. I'd be interested to know how many kilowatt hours of battery you got for that. They now owe the finance company $6,000, not Solar Service Group. These clowns have had a total disregard towards us and for the predicament that this company has put us into. If this company had a conscience, and I doubt they do, they should hang their head in shame as a company, total disgrace. So that's a review that came in for Solar Service Group just now. So we've reached out to Karen, I think, that left this review and asked her who the finance company is. And hopefully, we don't work with any finance companies apart from one called Parker Lane. It wouldn't be Parker Lane because they don't do these kind of deals. But we do know people at some of the other companies, even though we don't deal with them. And we may be able to put some pressure on them to refund her money if the system really is as bad as she says. So watch this space.
Yes.
Yeah, batteries are a minefield for, you know, if you don't specify them right and install them right, you're going to get very little benefit from them.
Yes, and you know, the company who took her money is still responsible for
Yeah,
a crap
absolutely.
battery.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can't walk away. Not legally.
I mean, I don't know what they promised her. Don't know what claims were made as to savings and performance, but whatever claims they made, they have to honour.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, no one pays for a battery that doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to a blog post by Richard this time. This is about a Zappy charger. So a Zappy charger is an electric car charger.
So it's a brave name, really, when you think about it. Is this safe? Oh yes, it's called the Zappy. Perfectly safe. It won't, you know, frizz your air or anything.
Yeah, you've got 22 kilowatts going through it. You probably don't want to get zapped.
Only in the 3-phase version.
Yeah. So this is a smart car charger, I guess you'd call it, and it's smart because you can configure it to only charge when you've got excess solar.
Yep.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Brilliant plan.
It's about $1,100. Well, it's $1,100 plus install.
So 1,500, say, less.
Yeah, probably if you've got a reasonably straightforward install.
Yeah. Single phase or three phase, probably a difference.
Yes. Yeah, Richard wrote about this. A guy called Chris up in Queensland. He's had it for three or 4 months, and he's over the moon with it. Sometimes he gets 99% solar into his car.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
So only 1% of electricity he uses for his electric car is from the grid.
Now, not a lot of people realize this, but the Tesla charger so when you buy a Tesla, they give you a charger, and then you have to get it installed. Otherwise, can't charge your Tesla at home. You could do it through a normal PowerPoint, but it'd take forever.
Yeah.
It's basically which is surprising from Tesla, a really dumb charger. Well, a dumb charger. You cannot configure it to charge just from solar. You can put it on a timer, which I believe is controlled by the car, but that's about it.
Yes, better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the car controls the charger. And I guess that makes sense because it could be plugged into any kind of charger.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Tesla home charger is dumb. So I'm getting a Tesla hopefully next month. Do I use the free Tesla charger, the Tesla charger that I'm going to get anyway, or do I invest $1,100 in one of these?
Well, you should look at your feed-in tariff.
16 cents.
Okay, and what you pay for electricity?
38 cents.
Ooh, that's a big difference. So looks like you could save a lot of money.
22 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah, and you got to think, well, how much solar would I get if I just used a charger, a timer on the Tesla one? You'd probably screw that up a lot.
Yeah.
If you're like a normal human being who doesn't constantly adjust it. Oh, it's funny. I gotta change the timer.
Well, I'll wire it up to 3-phase, so we should be able to get 22 kilowatts out of it. And I don't want it to just go 22 kilowatts or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's going to be almost all from the grid on a sunny day.
Oh well, if it's wired up to 3-phase, then you definitely should get this Zappy because you're not going to get.
I think I'll get one.
I
think I'll get one.
Yeah, it would save you money. I'm sure it will last a lot longer than its payback period, but it's not particularly green because when you send your electricity into the grid, rather than charging your vehicle, it's still reducing fossil fuel use.
Yeah.
So don't get it for that reason, but get it for all the other reasons, which are good.
Yeah. I think I'll get one.
Okay, what's next?
Next story. CEC delists CSUN, China Sun Energy solar panels. So this is a solar panel brand called CSUN, which we took off our recommended chart a long time ago for various reasons. Have been delisted by the CEC.
Yes.
For, I think, not using the components on the bill of materials in all the panels.
They didn't match what they said was in there.
Naughty.
Now, yes, it could be because they were using cheaper components to save some money, or maybe they said, these components are even better, we will use them.
Could be.
That's possible.
Could be.
But they didn't match, and that's a bad thing to do.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything particularly bad about the panels, but, I've tried ringing their office many times.
How did that go?
Every time it just says this number is dead.
And we told CSUN that their number was disconnected in Australia. This would have been years ago.
Yeah,
and
a long time ago.
Last time we checked, which was a few months ago, it was still disconnected. And that's one of the reasons we kicked them off our list many moons ago. CEC, the guys and gals that look after this part of the CEC, which is maintaining the lists of solar panels and inverters and delisting the ones that fail their various tests. They do a great job. Overall, I think the CEC does more harm than good to the industry, but there's certain parts of the CEC, let's just be frank, that do a great job, and these guys and girls are one of them. Here's an advert that I saw in my local paper a couple of days ago.
Yeah. That looks cheapish.
Yeah, what I wanted to point out here, so this is a Sonnen 10 kilowatt hour battery in South Australia. You can get it for $7,990 after the South Australian rebate, which is $6,000. So
that's pretty good for a Sonnen.
$13,990 minus $6,000 is $7,990 for 10 kilowatt hours. That won't pay for itself at that price unless you've got a really weird tariff and energy consumption. But what they're saying here is you can get it effectively pay $2,890 because
Is that possible?
well, they got a star, they got an asterisk, but then the asterisk doesn't go anywhere. So I had to look it up. So I went to their website, and I went to the VPP page, and that was blank. So I did a bit more digging around, and then I found out it must be the Simply Energy. Oh no, I actually asked on a group on Facebook. It must be the Simply Energy VPP virtual power plant.
Right.
And the deal there is very simple. They will give you $7 a day for 2 years to be part of their virtual power plant.
$7 a day. That's,
Which is $5,100 over 2 years.
Yeah, that's generous, I think.
Now, putting aside whether this advert's misleading or not, I personally think it is, because it's got asterisks that don't go anywhere.
It's not a get-out-of-truth-free card. Come on.
Approved solar retailer.
Yeah.
And it's claiming you can get free hot water, which you can't. They're not telling you how big the solar system is. That's $3,990.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you think about that? So if you could, putting aside the ethics of the advert,
Yeah.
you think that's a good deal?
If
$7
you could get 10 kilowatts of battery storage,
10 kilowatt hours.
10 kilowatt hours of battery storage for $2,890, that sounds great. Sounds like that's basically what you need for it to pay for itself. So yeah.
But if you can get it for $7,990 and then get $7 a day?
That's, from my point of view, that's much the same thing. Still do your sums and make sure you'll actually come out ahead. But if you wanted that battery, looks like the way to do it.
And look at the small print, because I haven't looked at, maybe that's a blog post. Look at the small print of the Simply Energy VPP, because I haven't.
They're going to want something for that $7 a day. Might not be much. People worry too much, but it is good to worry.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of VPPs, I'm in the AGL VPP with my Powerwall 2.
That's right. What if
We had a big storm yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was all over the news. There's a big storm coming.
Ned and I were attacked by chairs yesterday.
Awesome.
The wind was blowing them towards us.
Well, I was working from home and I thought, I wonder if my Powerwall's gone into Stormwatch mode, which is a thing. So I had a look, and Stormwatch was switched on, but it hadn't gone into Stormwatch mode.
Oh no.
So either Stormwatch mode doesn't work, or they didn't think the storm was severe enough.
So that's when your battery charges up, so you'll have power in case the storm results in a blackout.
So, there's all these weather warnings, and my Powerwall's at 4%, so we haven't had a lot of sun recently.
Yeah.
Now, Tesla could argue that it wasn't a severe enough storm, but 8,000 properties ended up getting power cuts.
Yes.
So it was obviously a storm that caused power cuts. So I thought, because I was in a VPP, I wouldn't be able to force charge it.
Yeah.
But I could. I went into the app, backup mode, 100%, and it started charging at 3.3 kilowatts.
Excellent.
It can charge at 5 kilowatts, but interestingly, I've been told that 3.3 kilowatts for a Powerwall 2 is the optimum to look after the cells. So Tesla will not charge it if you're force charging it at more than 3.3 kilowatts. So I did that and filled it up.
Yeah. You'd think even if there's only a small risk of blackout, they'd say, better put at least 30 or 40% charge in there, just in case.
You would. Tesla are going to get more heat for not engaging storm mode and then someone having a blackout and their battery running out than engaging storm mode and them not blacking out.
Yeah.
So I don't see Tesla's like that. Now here's a story that you told me today.
Yeah.
Anyone in the solar industry, think of the absolute worst solar company over the last 5 years. Yep, that's the one. What did you learn about these guys?
Okay, so someone's told me that their solar panels stopped working after just 2 years because they had big holes rusted through them. And they got into contact with this wonderful, terrible company, and the explanation for why they had those holes in them were the funnels were, get this, sunburnt.
They hadn't protected the panels from the sun.
Yes, they foolishly put them on their roof where the sun could shine on them.
In full sun.
Yes.
Idiots.
And they weren't responsible for any warranty or any remedy because they hadn't followed the small print in the warranty which said, you must get them serviced every year by a qualified good servicer, which we approve of. And yeah, that's nonsense.
What would your advice to that consumer be?
Go to the Consumer Affairs Office in your state and say, please assist me in getting this crap removed from my roof and my money back in my wallet.
I would be very confident, under Australian consumer law, they can't use the small print to override the big print. The big print is 10-year product warranty, 25-year performance warranty.
Yep.
The small print is, that warranty is not valid unless you use someone that we approve of to maintain your panels. Well, I would argue that's unreasonable. I'd be very confident that a tribunal that understood Australian consumer law would find in your favour.
Yes, it is unreasonable.
They can't do that, I don't think.
No.
Or if you're worried...
I'm not a lawyer. We're not lawyers, but you can't do that. God damn it.
Or if you're worried, make sure you protect your solar panels from the sun.
Yes.
Maybe put a big awning over them.
Yeah. Maybe some SPF 30 rubber on that. Put a t-shirt on them, a hat.
Yeah.
Slip, slop, slap for your solar panels.
So remember, folks, never put solar panels in full sun.
Yeah.
You might get sunburned and void your warranty.
Yes, burn big holes right through them.
Till next time.
Damn you, son.